Okay, now I checked my UCR email and it turns out class is canceled, which means I could do a number of productive things on my day, like watch Shin Godzilla again or actually study. But before any of that, I wanted to do this really dumb video just because it was floating around my mind for like the longest time. Some, you're sitting in class, you get bored, or at work, you get bored, and you start thinking about random bullshit. And then I had this really stupid idea, and I thought to myself, what would happen? Well, because we already know that Justice League is coming out, blah, blah, blah. And we already know that Legendary is making their own Monsterverse, which is getting bigger and bigger each film. So with that in mind, I thought to myself, well, how would we already know what the Monsterverse for Legendary is going to look like? We're going to have King Kong, Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah. But what would the original Toho Monsterverse look like? Now, to bring up a few points, the Showa era basically already had a MonsterVerse. They took the individual franchises of Godzilla, Rodan, Mothra, put together into one to make Ghidorah the three-headed monster, which already has a lot of parallels with Batman vs Superman. And then, of course, they went even bigger with their own little Infinity War type thing with Destroy All Monsters, which combined the franchises also of Frankenstein Conquers the World with Baragon's appearance and others like Gore's source from King Kong Escapes. So, with that said, I wanted to make my own little version of it with my own roster. Just as a fun, since Justice League is coming out, I'm really looking forward to it. And I just watched Shin Godzilla, so I'm really in the mood. So I want to start with Batman vs Superman because that's where the team ups really start. But if I want to go over Man of Steel really quickly, well, first I should just start with who I'm picking for my Superman for the team, and I'm picking none other than Godzilla. Now, why is that? Well, in the DCEU, a DC Extended Universe, Superman is basically, technically speaking, he's not the first superhero to appear on Earth because Wonder Woman and Batman still predate him, but he's the first publicly recognized superhero. Batman is more of an urban myth in the universe. So Superman is the first, like I said, world recognized superhero. And since Godzilla is pretty much the monster who started it all, Toho, and a lot of movies will reference him as the very first one who started it all, why not have Godzilla as Superman? Although Godzilla's not nearly as benevolent as Superman, but that'd be missing the point. And as a second note, Superman is usually noted as the strongest of the Justice League, and Godzilla is probably the strongest monster here. So I definitely wanted to put him as the quote-unquote leader of the so-called team. So with that said, like I was saying before, the Man of Steel thing, Godzilla, there had to be other Godzillas, Man of Steel, Kryptonians. So, I don't know, let's say General Zod was like GMK Godzilla or something. Who doesn't want to be forgotten? Something simple like that. We get to the real, down to the nitty-gritty of putting the other big characters in there. For my Batman, I wanted to put Kiryu. Now, this is where some people may lose me on this one because, like I said, Ghidorah the Monster and Batman and Superman have a lot of the same things in common. Three heroes get together to fight one big bad, when previously two of the heroes have been fighting nonstop, Godzilla and Rodan, Batman and Superman, and then they team up. So why did I choose Rodan? Well, first off, I don't know, I felt like the parallel between Godzilla and Kiryu is a lot more stronger than between Godzilla and Rodan, because Godzilla and Rodan have fought, yes, plenty of times, but I still see them more traditionally as allies more often than not. And their fighting never gets too down and dirty unless you want to count Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla in 1993 when Godzilla almost killed him. But still, that Rodan was a lot weaker than Godzilla. And I picked Kira because I feel like they've been at odds every single time. And I just felt there was more of a connection there between them, between Batman, Superman, and Godzilla and Mechagodzilla. And because it's just easy for me to envision, since Batman is like the really smart, technologically advanced member of the team, and Mechagodzilla is the most technologically advanced kaiju, if you want to call him kaiju, in the Toho verse, really, compared to other mechs in the series. Kiryu is by far, and he's always updating. Just between the two movies alone, he updated between the two of them. So same way that DCEU keeps updating Batman's suit almost every single movie and giving him sometimes multiple suits a movie, I think that'd be really interesting with Kiryu in there, since Kiryu could constantly change up, And like I said, Kiryu kind of does that too. Between the two movies he was in, he disengages his backpack, and sometimes he drops off the extra weights on his arms so he could fight better. And then the main reason I wanted to put Kiryu in there is because the fight dynamics actually match up really well. Now, because you look at the Toho movies where Godzilla and Kiryu fight, Godzilla is stronger than Kiryu, technically speaking, as far as I'm concerned. He definitely has a stronger breath. I mean, Godzilla can take the missiles and lasers from Kiryu all freaking day, aside from his really heavy weapons like the Absolute Zero Cannon and the Triple Hyper Maser Cannon, and the drill hand, if you want to include that too. But when they go up close in both movies, you all noticed Kiryu outclasses Godzilla in actual physical combat prowess. Not because he's necessarily stronger than him, but he just fights better. He's more energetic, he's more agile. And I think that parallels well with the whole Batman-Superman debate. People will say, Superman is way more powerful than Batman. However, when it comes down to them being mano-a-mano down to the same power level, Batman is a better martial artist. He fights better than him. He knows a lot more combat. But of course, he's going to outclass him if he can get him down to his level. So because all those parallels between Kiryu and Batman, I wanted Kiryu as the Batman of the team. And not to mention, Kiryu has an evil version of himself that happened in Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, which I guess kind of represent Kiryu on the warpath like Batman was. So there's that. I wanted to put Miki Sagusa as Lois Lane because I feel like that's just obvious. Now, obviously, in my pictures, you can see I didn't pick the Heisei Godzilla just because I wanted to parallel with Kiryu really well. But yeah, she's from the Heisei era of movies. And of course, she's probably the strongest connection any female character, maybe any human characters have with Godzilla. But since it was a female, it was just pretty obvious to have her as the Lois Lane of the DCEU. It just makes perfect sense. She was one of the only humans crime Godzilla died in Godzilla vs. Destroyer, and Lois Lane cradling Superman's corpse just made me instantly think of Lois Lane. I mean, my brain got mixed up there. But in any case, Lois Lane, Miki Sagusa, that's just super obvious. This one should probably have been obvious as well. Mothra as Wonder Woman, that just seems obvious. Two kind of mystical beings, gods, really, to a lot of people. Wonder Woman may not be precisely a god, but she has a god killer sword. She's still, she's a figure that is associated with gods. And Mothra, unlike Godzilla or Rodan, is usually noted as more of a deity than like a mutation or anything like that. Mothra has never been a mutation, and I really hope they keep that kind of thing going with the legendary monster universe. So I think Mothra Wonder Woman is a really, really, really good fit. And this is another tricky one. I don't know if people are going to agree with me or not, but this is what I really wanted for Doomsday. Doomsday, I did not want to put Destroyer, who is really associated with Godzilla's death just because they happen to be in the same movie. But honestly, I feel like that would be spoiling the shit out of it. Because I think Destroyer is just way too good a villain for a small thing like Doomsday kind of is. I mean, trust me, I love Batman Superman, and I love the Death of Superman comic book. But Doomsday really is more of just a plot device to get Superman to die, more or less. And I feel like Destroyer is worth a lot more than that. In fact, if I had to do a quick side one, I'd say Destroyer should really be more of the Joker, since Destroyer almost more than any other, probably more than any other monster in the entire Godzilla villain run, that's where I had more emotion than all of them. And that was that he was a pure sadistic guy who even wanted revenge and things like that. Which, of course, goes beyond things like King Ghidorah always being mind control and Gigan's cowardice. Destroyer was just pure malicious asshole. And I think that would fit the Joker very well. So I want to say Destroyer would be the Joker. I know it doesn't really match with Kira very well, but I just think the personalities are kind of there. Both sadistic. Now, why did I pick Space Godzilla? Space Godzilla, first off, Doomsday is known for his bony little protrusions that are really sharp and whatnot, and overwhelming physical power. That made me think a lot of Space Godzilla. Space Godzilla is, well, also like Doomsday is Kryptonian. Space Godzilla is, well, Godzilla. So Space Godzilla being part Godzilla matches well Doomsday being part Kryptonian. Also, the crystal spikes remind me a lot of Doomsday spikes. And Space Godzilla is vastly more powerful than Godzilla, as we know. Godzilla could not beat him on his own. He needed the help of Mogira. And in place of the little energy explosion that Doomsday had in the movie, we could just use Space Godzilla's crystal palace that he makes, crystal fortress, which I think would fit in nicely. It would actually make a lot of sense. And then one of the main reasons I picked him also because remember the scene at the very end where Doomsday pierces Superman through the chest with his spike hand. Well, remember that scene in Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla where Space Godzilla uses his tail to basically spear Megura through the chest? Boom. There you go. So the scene of that death would play out as Space Godzilla stabbing Godzilla in the chest with his spear tail, and then Godzilla finishing him off with, I don't know, trying to rip out his heart or something of that nature. That's a little more tricky, but I'm not going to, of course, go plot by plot or anything like that, super in-depth. I just want to get my general lineup out there. So yeah, I think Space Godzilla is a really good fit for Doomsday, and I want to stick to that. Not to mention, as we all have heard rumor that Doomsday will probably come back, supposedly. So we'll see what that happens in the future. And of course, I actually would love Space Godzilla came back in future Godzilla movies. I'm hoping he really does. I think he's a really misused villain. But yeah, right now I feel pretty comfortable with my decision to have him as a Doomsday. Moving on to the actual Justice League, well, at least fleshing it out. I wanted Rodan as the Flash. Number one reason is because, from what I understand, from what I hear, Rodan is the fastest flying monster in the Toho universe. Aside maybe Megurus, but Megurus and Godzilla are not allies at all. Rodan has been Godzilla's ally many times in Invasion of Astro Monster and Destroy All Monsters. And of course, Ghidorah the Red Monster where they first met. So I think Rodan and the Flash are a pretty good fit. The whole theme of speed would fit very well. I wanted to put Aquaman as King Caesar because they're both guys of legend who are royalty. And although King Caesar doesn't have an actual kingdom, he's very much revered by the people of Okinawa. So I thought it would make a lot of sense to have King Caesar be Aquaman. And I say that as a non-King Caesar fan, honestly. But to me, that fit just makes so much sense. But really, technically speaking, you could interchange King Caesar with King Kong, which would probably be more badass team member, most definitely. In fact, if I could go back and change it, I probably would change it to just King Kong, but no one wants to see the Toho Kong right there next to Aquaman's badass self, so take it as it is. I mean, you could really do King Caesar or King Kong, of course, being the better of the two, especially as far as looks go, but they achieve the same purpose, basically, so I'm fine with that. And then the last member, Cyborg. Cyborg, well, I already used my one robot to be Kiru, so unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go with Jet Jaguar. And I despise Jet Jaguar's character, and I love Cyborg. However, I thought Jet Jaguar would be an obvious fit because, one, he is a robot who was created by a human father, obviously, and I thought that parallel with Cyborg kind of well. And I mean, honestly, that's my weakest choice. I didn't have too many other robots to pick, honestly, but I definitely didn't want to pick Mogira, who looks like shit. So, I mean, my choices were kind of limited on that. But Jet Jaguar, I mean, yeah, I mean, what can I say? Jet Jaguar, he's on the team. He's on the Toho Justice League, unfortunately. And yeah, well, yeah, we got Jet Jaguar on the team. Now let's get back to something interesting. Now, the villains for the Justice League itself. I think the the parademons can be played by obviously enemies who are probably going to be easy to kill, since parademons are no doubt dangerous, but I think to individual league members they're pretty much toys. They'll probably end up tossing around half the time. So something some enemies are quickly disposable, something along the lines of like maybe Kamacuris, an army of Kamacuris, or maybe an army of Megagearus, something simple like that. After Step on Wolf, I want to put Gigan. I think that'd be great. And that ties into my choice for Darkseid, which I would put as King Ghidorah. And since King Ghidorah and Gigan are known for working together in Godzilla vs. Gigan, I thought that'd be an interesting parallel, since Gigan is definitely weaker than King Ghidorah, I'd say, depending on how you want to analyze it. But I just think Gigan would be an interesting fit, and I love Gigan, so I'm a little biased. But yeah, I think Gigan and Steppenwolf would be really cool. And then, of course, like I said before, Darkseid as King Ghidorah, because King Ghidorah really is Godzilla's arch enemy, as people have noted. They fought many times, and they've fought more times than Mechagodzilla, that's for sure. So, of course, Godzilla come back to life to fight King Ghidorah would be awesome. And since we all kind of get the vibe that we know what's going to happen in Justice League, where Superman is probably come back just when they need him most, probably when they finally step on Wolf, Superman will probably beat down Steppenwolf, and then he'll retreat, going to Daddy Darkseid, saying that you need to come in yourself. And then Darkseid and Superman will clash, and we'll see how that goes. So to me, that makes perfect sense that Gigan's would come to Earth looking for whatever plot device, of course. And then he runs into Justice League. He gives them a hard time between Mothra, King Caesar, and them. And then Gigan ends up fighting Godzilla, ends up getting beat, and he goes back to tell King Ghidorah what's going on, and King Ghidorah himself comes in. That would be great. And that is my super nerd fantasy weird thing. Toho Monsters as the Justice League. If you have your own roster you want to put in the comments, that'd be great. And I think let's just bullshit around together. But I think it's fun. I like my roster. I think it's pretty solid. Other than Jet Jaguar as Cyborg, I'm not really happy about, but he was honestly one of the best fits. Unless you want to put someone else, I don't know, like maybe like Mecha King Ghidorah, but it just doesn't work because I already have King Ghidorah as Darkseid. That being said, though, Mecha King Ghidorah is a good guy, so yeah, I have to work around with that. But that is my little my just idea running through my head all day, and I just wanted to just put it in a video just to get off my chest. So I was thinking about it all day. It's like, that'd be so cool. Now just thinking, remember how Godzilla was basically taken down on the ground by Kiryu, and Godzilla poking us the West, and Kiryu standing over him. It just reminded me so much of the scene in Batman vs Superman where Batman is standing over Superman. So, I mean, that's one of the main reasons why I finally went to it. But instead of Kryptonite, of course, Kiryu has that drill hand and the Hyper Maser Cannon. So, yeah, that's my fun little thing. I'm looking forward to Justice League. I think it's going to be freaking awesome. And, of course, Wonder Woman as well. I think it's going to be great movies. I can't wait to see them in about a month's time when Wonder Woman comes out. Yes, yes, yes. And that's all for now, guys.